Wood Elves come out of their little woods to play versus the Kislevites. Winged Lancers coming in. We got Rogue AI versus Risotto. That's right, round 2. Will Rogue AI get his revenge? Will Risotto continue to beat down on this lad? We shall see. I like both builds so far. I've actually faced this in this matchup before against Prepare for the Bear, for those who remember him. And he did something not as similar, but kind of similar. But I like how Risotto's doing it. Just straight up cav. Although I think it's a bit of a mistake trying to rush down the Wood Elves. If they get into formation and they have like a double branch wraith and a glade lord with 3 ways to slow down units, and you try to come in all at once. And especially on this map, Rogue AI has actually taken a pretty good position. If he, although here comes the big rush. He needs to protect his lines, get those spears braced. If he could do that, delete one winged lancer after another, I think he's golden. The Waystalker's got some good shots into the horse archers. Nice little charge there. Those, I think those are dervishes? Maybe winged lancers? No, those are the Griffin Legion. Trying to get in. Rogue is getting into position real quick. Don't chase, Rogue. Don't chase. You're going to open up lines, and that's not what you want right now. Spears are in position. Getting repositioned now so these arrows can start landing. There's a big gap in front and side. Come on, Rogue. Don't mess this up. Use that Melikoths. Yeah, those Dryads are really out of position here. So are those spears. And one of the Cav get into the back line. Those Melikoths, yep, he's starting to shoot, but so, yeah, just poor positioning here. This is a huge mistake. Will he be able to recover? Although he hasn't given the charge order, so that's also a huge mistake here. So some blades to shoo him off and probably plug up that hole. Just has to turn face now and get rid of these horse archers. Dryads are trying to beat them up. So it's not the worst. And there's plenty of room for these spears to come in. Are they braced? They must not be braced because they charged into them. Maybe. Oh, those are Wild Riders. Those aren't Glade Riders. Damn. Yep, everything here on this side. So he's holding. The lad's holding. I don't know about Dreka in this match, but I think Dreka makes sense if Risotto actually went with a mass archer build or shooting build, because that can also be an issue for Wood Elves as well. And that's actually what Prepare for the Bear did. He did a big rush along with a shit ton of shooting. But it was on Itza, so it's a much shorter map. It's easier to perform that. This is actually a good position because there's that huge rock in between and able to close out a lot of the gaps. So Risotto can't actually get a full surround. Although it hasn't been that clean from Rogue AI as well. But at least he's holding, he's up on value, he's down on points, but it's not the end of the world. If Risotto actually keeps trying to take this fight though, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up dreading it. And if anything, he doesn't really need to do this. He can just hold back, hold out on points, just use spells to weaken the Eternal Guard, and eventually when they're all weakened, you can do that big push. Just keep harrying the Eternal Guard, because once they run out of frontline units, you can just win on the back end, because their frontline can't hold once they start getting charged. Not only that, you also have the reserves. The Vanguard is definitely the saving grace here, because a lot of Risotto's Cav units are getting sandwiched between spears, arrows, and then Wild Riders. Yeah, he just keeps trying. He keeps trying to do this. He doesn't really need to take these fights, and I mean Risotto just doesn't. If I were him, I would just try to hit isolated units and just keep harrying the Eternal Guard with the Skirmish Cav. Just weaken him as quick as you can, and then just keep hitting his reinforcements. Oh, man, these two got me talking so fast because there's so much going on here. And although Rogue is not... I mean, he's only up really 1,000 value. And the Cav of good old Kislev is able to hold because of that goofy Unbreakable they got. It's so annoying to deal with. It actually makes it really tough for certain units to deal with them. The fact that they're all Unbreakable is really obnoxious. I freaking hate it! Ugh! Kislev is one of those factions I kind of struggle with, kind of. Depends. A lot of the Mountain Guard factions hate that shit because all they do is shoot, and they have their hybrid shooting, and they have their death bowls. It makes it really tough to deal with. But, Rogue is holding out, and I actually don't know who's favored, faction-wise, in this matchup. I would have to say it's Wood Elves. Last time I played Wood Elves into Kislev, Kislev was actually really strong. It was actually kind of tough. But now, with the certain nerfs and buffs since then, I think that was like, game was like more than a year ago. Yeah, it's pretty good, especially with the changes to, Wildwood Rangers. Not coming in, actually. As far as I haven't seen those, I definitely would bring some so they can hit up the Armored Cossars if there were any of those. But no, he's just, Rogue Eyes just keeps bringing in more spears, and yeah, that's definitely the right call. Question is, when is he gonna send in a Glade Rider come deal with these side points, you know? He definitely could send one right now. He's got so many more units, and he still has a shit ton of arrows protected. He needs to get a lot of the other spears, too, into this fight that are just sitting there idle. Finally, the summons comes down from Draika. I was wondering when that was going to happen. Start beating up on those poor old Cossars. Yeah, the arrow unit on the side there also needs to get in. He needs to reform ranks. That's it. Gonna send a spear to chase when really it should probably just sit in the middle, although it could easily get isolated. Maybe he's got some. Ah, there goes the Glade over on the side. Gonna probably take that side. Needs to unclump because these. What is that? Chill Wind? Or I don't know what the hell this spell's called. Hailstorm? I don't play Kislev. Whatever it is, that cheap spell is just doing work. Especially since Rogue AI has all this stuff clumped up. Yeah, the thing with Rogue is his awareness, his micro, just need a bit of work. His knowledge is there, but his positioning afterwards can just, yeah. And a lot of players struggle with that as well. Awareness and microing. Even though the game isn't the, I wouldn't say it's the easiest to micro, it's definitely not the hardest either. But yeah, not knowing how to position definitely hurts sometimes. But he picked a pretty good spot to fight, and I will give him that. Rosado, though, I've noticed he's definitely aware, but there's some weaknesses here too. His building is really interesting. He plays it very well, but his priority targets and just knowing when to back off, he definitely gets very bloodthirsty, and that's kind of been a resounding weakness right now. In the first game, when he played against Rogue AI, when it was Kislev versus Tomb King, he was definitely playing it pretty damn well and knew what he was doing, but here it's just a whole nother story. And you could tell when a player doesn't play against this matchup often enough. Yeah, and that could kind of go to both players. Although I would say Rogue AI, I know that Rogue AI has plays enough. Definitely know he plays against Kislev enough. And yeah, yeah, my only real takeaway would be Rosado just pulling back, taking fights on isolated units and reinforcing. The thing is, Wood Elves are so good at moving on other points, and they're kind of good at everything, except super long-range engagements. And yeah, I know people still think Arrows of Keranos are OP and broken and should be limited to one, but they shouldn't. They're actually pretty bad. It's so bad. I've seen so many Arrows of Keranos from running tournaments and watching replays and using them myself that it's just, you could bring 3 Arrows of Keranos and they probably won't even take out an artillery piece, depending on what kind of artillery piece it is. Maybe they'll take out one model. They won't definitely take out the whole thing. Either they'll get hit by trees, hit the ground, all that. So I definitely am not surprised Rogue AI doesn't have 3 Waystalkers there. Or 2 Waystalkers and a goofy Glade Lord or the twins. I don't know about Draika, but I can understand why Draika, because Draika's hard to kill. But also the summons, Malakoth is good. I wouldn't mind seeing like another branch rate though too. With how cheap branch rates are and just one spell of Malakoth, they come down to like 550. They have Vanguard, 3 capture weight, so you could just throw them on a point and just protect all your sides. Although it's not Prey of Althrema, it's still pretty good for the price. Yeah, it's just Rosado has nothing else. He's trying to recapture, trying to win on points, noticing that he's really down. Although it's 9-11, a lot of the Kislevites aren't exactly doing all that great, and they're not holding points. Although Rogue AI just has to send in one. I keep saying this, just send in one Glade Rider to go retake the points. He's got idle Eternal Guards that could go in the middle, maybe just be unsummoned so you can get them back in the pool and reposition them in there. And that's a tip for some of you newer players. If a unit's super far out, exhausted, weary, damaged, and totally out of position in your opponent's deployment zone or on their half of the map, just unsummon them. So you could resummon them closer, full of health, and they can capture stuff easier rather than trying to exhaust their way all the way back to points or a fight. Yeah, the Kislevites aren't doing so hot. It's actually kind of close. I'm surprised how close it is, too. Rogue, I don't think he definitely doesn't need a triple cap, but he needs to hold on to this point. Yeah, he finally recapped it. He's only got 1 so far after losing his other side. Maybe he's gonna yeah, it looks like he's gonna transition to the middle, which is fine. Nothing bad there. And Rosado's just gotta hold somehow. I would unsummon those archers. They're gonna just run anyways as soon as they get charged. They're archers, they're skirmish cap. Yeah, they take a blow real quick and then just run off for the, I believe those are wing lancers? Maybe they're dervishes, I'm not sure. Yeah, and you have Eternal Guard there, that's just gonna, yeah, those are dervishes, they're definitely gonna lose that. Spears are gonna come in, the Wild Riders could easily cycle charge on back. Maybe even get a rear charge, yeah, because that's just end up running. Where are the Kislev units? Where are they? Yeah, they're so down on models now. Eternal Guard are coming in to hold. And yeah, Rogue AI definitely has plenty of time to work with. He's only down roughly 300, 250 really? Yeah, 250-ish. And he could easily just leave an Eternal Guard. Yeah, he's going to leave 2 Eternal Guard on his point that he's going to own here. He has 2 over here. He's got Wild Riders. Oh, he's got Asari War Spears? Holy shit. Oh, I thought they were Eternal Guard. Yeah, those ladies are going to crump. But they really don't need to, but they're there. And I think Rogue AI just invested too hard into Cav. There's no armored Kossars. Nothing like that. Like 1 or 2 armored Kossars wouldn't be too bad right now. Maybe even Zargar. Zargar would be buff. These Eternal Guard would not be able to face them. Yeah, I actually like Zargar. Even though they aren't anti-large or anti-anything, really. The Sword and Board would be fantastic here in the late game with how many Eternal Guard are here. They can just duke it out with them, beat them, shove them out back, and then you could do some rear charges or flank charges. Try to support them with skirmish cav. Yeah, that's all Rosado needs right now is like a elite to semi-elite unit to come in. Deal with these annoying Eternal Guard. Although some rear charges will help, it looks like they turned face and didn't get the charge that they wanted, and are going to pay for it with some spears. 2 Glade Riders facing off against Wing Lancer Dervishes. I think the Wing Lancers win. Oh, and some fresh ones too. Oh, that Wing Lancer's actually getting rocked. How? That's insane. The Malakoths came in after they were already damaged like that. Those were just Glade Riders. Oh, it's Feebling Foe. Oh, that wasn't Malakoths. Ah, so they gave him absolutely no melee attack or defense. That's why they were losing so quick. That's insane. Oh, I've been sleeping on a Feebling Foe. That's pretty good. I forgot he brought that with Draco. That's pretty crazy. Huh. I think they have like, what, 24, 26 melee defense? They were at like 2 or 0, somewhere around there for the Wing Lancers. That's insane. Good stuff on Rogue AI. It looks like he's going to get the triple cap soon. There's nothing here for Rosado, really. Maybe some Wing Lancers. Good dodge, somewhat semi-dodge. Although He is triple capped. Holy shit. Yeah, it looks like Rosado's gonna try to climb back in, but I think it's too late. Yeah, Rogue AI having 2 points and only being down by 100. Needs 100, he needs 200. I'm talking about in terms of seconds. 250 versus 200. No, he still needs to get some more points, I believe. No? Do the math real quick. So 250 and then 250. Yeah, it definitely goes to Rogue. Doesn't even need to try. He can just hold on these points. Just stay. Be a good lad. If he tries, I think it's going to be a mistake. Although, he is kind of sketchy on the Objective 1 over there. I don't know how many Winds of Magic the Ice Witch has left. But she's going to do some work in terms of capture weight. The Wildwood Rangers don't exactly have the best. And the fact that there's no terror-causing monsters from from Kislev is kind of insane. I really was expecting a Worm. Which makes sense. If you're doing big, nasty calf charges, a terror-causing monster really would help too. Yeah, Rogue is finally caught up in terms of points. He's catching up at least. He cannot lose Objective 1. He's got enough spears here not to give a shit. So he can just keep sending in Wildwood Rangers, Riders, the rest of his army over there. He could even be a sneaky little lad and retake point 3 with some Glade Riders. And just try to hoof it out here. Here come the Wild Riders. Yeah. Even send like 2 spears over to Objective 3 would be nice. Even though he doesn't really have to. And it really comes down to can Rosado take this point? Can he do enough damage? And it looks like he's got more than enough. The Wild Riders come in just in time too for a rear charge. And to buy some time on the capture weight too. And yeah, GG's. That's gonna be it. It's gonna take too long to recapture. It really is. Setting in the skirmish cap to guarantee hold point 3, but the fact that he couldn't take point 1 is the biggest problem. Yeah, very close. Well done to both players. That was down and dirty. I think just the builds were okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think it was just positioning issues and some bloodthirstiness and yeah, just a few changes to the build, and I think both players could actually have this a little bit easier on both ends, a little bit cleaner. But well done, well done. How he did bring a Frostworm. That's like the first thing. I'm surprised he didn't just bring out the rest of the Armored Cossars too. He only brought out 2. Wow. Maybe just trade in like 2 of them for a Zargard and just bring some Cossars. I don't know. That's what I would do. That's what I would do, lads. Alright, folks, we're at the end of the video. If you'd like to, please like, sub, follow me here on YouTube. We're on the road to 2,000. Come join me when we have our streams and tournaments, whether it's to play or just show some love. Appreciate both. With all that said, y'all have a good one. Peace, and goodbye for now.